growl that makes him howl, a.k.a. Joey the Blind Panther. And y'all were talking about quarterbacks, and I made a video about this yesterday. That if you look at the quarterbacks that are in the playoffs, how many of those quarterbacks were top 5 picks?
None of the
One.
NFC, all of the
and that's
AFC.
Cody's boy, Trevor Lawrence, who, by the way, pulled off the ballsiest of wins in the playoffs against the LA Chargers, and Justin Herbert, who was a
Trevor's the man.
overall pick, not a top 5. And I want to tell you that, and look at Trey Lance versus Brock Purdy. The Niners traded up to number 3 to get Trey Lance, and what has he done? Not a damn thing. Jimmy Garoppolo replaces him and does real well. And now Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, is playing in the playoffs and actually playing pretty well. So that leads me to thinking that, damn, like why trade up for a quarterback to get into the top 5 for a quarterback? And I'll give you a rundown of the top 5 quarterbacks. A quarterback picked at each pick. All right. 1, Baker Mayfield, first overall pick. What has he done? He was all right. Took the team to the playoffs, won a playoff game against the bad Steelers team. Number 2, let's see, who was picked at number 2? I don't know anybody was picked at number 2. You got Zach Wilson. Where's Zach Wilson? Bench for Mike White.
I thought he was doing that joke on purpose. He really was. He was
number
like,
3, Trey Lance. Brock Purdy's in the playoffs. He's not. Hold on a minute. Number 4. I don't know any quarterback that was taken at number 4. But number 5, Tua, 1 playing in the playoffs. So there's your rundown on top 5 quarterbacks and how well they work out.
That was injuries.
Sam Darnold looks a lot like the quarterbacks that are in the playoffs. Anyway, guys.
I got this.
Wow.
Yeah, you can't use that as an excuse when he's not playing because he's injured. If he wasn't injured, he would be playing. So that's not an excuse right there. And on top of that, we went over this a few weeks ago. It's a complete flip. The NFC is all players that were not drafted as top prospects as quarterbacks within the first round, and they're in the playoffs. The AFC, however, is different. All of those quarterbacks were drafted in the top 15, expected to be franchise quarterbacks going into the future, and they all are. So there is a big difference. It's one side and the other. We went over that a few weeks ago. Like, look at the AFC. Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, what's the guy from Buffalo? Josh Allen.
Josh Allen's one of these guys. He could have been on
playing,
this
but he should have been in the game. You're looking at all top 15 quarterbacks there. The NFC is different. So I'll give you that. There is an argument for this for sure, but it's not a definite that if you're a top quarterback.
Daniel Jones was drafted number 6 with the Giants. He was drafted number 6 overall.
And he might be on the move,
That's what
too.
I'm saying.
Isn't
there's
this interesting?
However, there are 7 top 15 quarterbacks that are in the AFC playoffs right now.
This is here's a real truth, though, is that the guys on your screen right now likely could be on the move, right? If Purdy has had an incredible run, right? And then so they're either if it feels like San Francisco would be taking more of a risk going back to Trey Lance than they would either staying with Purdy or acquiring somebody or like a veteran. So Trey Lance, who they put a lot of resources into, could be on the move for dirt cheap. Zach Wilson has been a disaster with the New York Jets. They're ready to move on. And interestingly, too, even Mac Jones isn't safe. And I think there are other names that we could have put up here to look on this list when it comes to the Dolphins. But if you think about this, is that where he is interested is the truth of this matter is we were ready to invest in a lot of any of these guys on this screen right now. Oh, and even Justin Fields.
No, not any of them. Don't say any of them. I would never have invested in Matt Jones.
Yeah,
you wouldn't have taken him. That you would have really been pissed if the Panthers took him at 8.
Yes, I would have been.
Remember?
Not only
Okay.
would I have been
Okay.
pissed, I would have been furious. How about this? The
I
only
would have been
okay,
disappointed.
there's only 2 quarterbacks that aren't on the Panthers that are currently
What did
that
he
I
say?
would
He
trade
broke up.
for right now.
Say it again.
There's only 2 quarterbacks that I would trade for that are on other teams right now. That's Justin Fields and it's
Lamar Jackson.
Jordan Love.
No.
Jordan Love
Oh,
with
no.
the Green Bay Packers because he's been
On what?
sitting under Aaron Rodgers for the past 3 years and he's been getting better and better. And when he did step in for Aaron Rodgers this year, he did look pretty good. But other than that, none of those guys are at the
Crazy.
top of my list.
You crazy. What about this guy right here? Lamar Jackson.
Hell no. Too expensive.
So
What's too expensive?
The amount of money it would
The
cost
amount
and
the amount
draft
of
picks.
the amount of draft picks and the amount of guaranteed dollars for a guy who has never done jack shit in the playoffs, and now people are questioning.
Whoa, whoa, what?
I'm with Cody on this.
He's never done jack shit. I don't want to hear about, oh, he had an MVP season. Fine, whatever. How does that mean that he's a franchise quarterback? I mean, no, he's definitely a franchise quarterback, but I'm not giving up.
Cody.
I'm not giving up
Look,
that
wow.
amount of draft capital
Not taken.
for a guy that has never proven himself in the playoffs. He never
think I-
clutches it up in the playoffs.
Yeah. Are you talking about Jackson?
Yeah, that's who we
Yeah,
talking
Lamar
I think I
Jackson.
know. I think I know where you're coming from. Okay, I agree with you. Jackson's an amazing player right now, but Jackson and Kyler Murray are RG3s.
He's just trying to
I
hide
can
CK
almost
because he agrees with
I
me.
can almost promise you in 5 years they will not be playing in the NFL. I'm just saying they will not be playing. Mobile quarterbacks who are not big do not last in the NFL. Mobile quarterbacks who are big last 3 or 4 years more than the guys who don't. That's only like 8 years. Mobile quarterbacks just don't last in the NFL, man. Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray will not be relevant in the next 5 years. And you know what? I hope they both take that to the bank and they both prove me wrong. But they will not be relevant in the next 5 years. They're going to get injured. They're going to turn out like RG3. Period. They look like Lego players playing out there.
What
with
about
big
not what
helmets.
will?
And-
Why don't, maybe we don't need to be talking about what will happen. Is we shouldn't, and some people should be talking about what is happening right now. I mean, it's an interesting
What the
kind
fact
of
that they're both
story
been
with
very
Lamar. Yeah, I mean the
injury-ridden last 2
injury
years.
over the last 6 weeks is that generally you sit out the preseason and hardball your contract. He's hardballing his contract at the end of the season. And will it turn out to be brilliant? Because some people are saying, or people continue to point that he doesn't have an agent as being the problem. But I don't know. It's like if Lamar Jackson signs with another team and the Ravens take a first-round pick for him, did he make financially a good move? And I would say probably yes.
Financially,
Like he
yes.
might be the one player finding his way out of Baltimore without having to sign the franchise tag. By sitting out at the end instead of the beginning. Interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then the press cycle isn't on you. If you sit out the season, the whole press cycle is on you every Sunday. Lamar might be onto something here.
He is. I just believe that what he's doing to prove his worth and make more money in Baltimore right now, if he's not injured, while it may help his financial future, will not help his playing future. Because players don't want to play with a guy who's going to not play whenever you don't get paid. Like
I think
mean,
players
just
will forget
at
that.
least me personally, when I'm on a team, I want to play with a guy who wants to win. Like I want to get paid too, but I also want to win, and winning is the most important thing. And
But you're getting paid, bro. You'll be there anyway. You might say that in your
what's the
heart right
difference
now
between
because you're not getting
240
paid.
million
But
and
if you
220
were,
million, are you
were
hurting that
getting,
bad? Are you eating ramen? Seriously?
no, what I'm saying is this:
Like-
if Lamar came to Carolina, you wouldn't be like, oh, I don't know if I could play with this dude.
I don't know.
Well,
There's less moral questions than Tom. There's less moral
Sure,
questions.
I agree with
of
that.
Lamar coming to Carolina
You're
than
right,
there were
you're
with
right,
a Tom
you're right.
Brady
And
and
originally-
the Deshaun. Like that's what I'm saying. It's like I wouldn't be
right.
like, oh,
Tony, you're right. Originally, you wouldn't be able to, but say Lamar does come here next year, okay, and say he plays here 2 years, and we haven't given him a big deal, okay, and you're DJ Moore, and you're playing
no,
with
you
this
would
guy,
have to
you've been
give it
playing
to
with
him
him 2
next
years.
year.
And
I'm ready
2
to
years,
give it
2
to
years
him.
later,
Give it to him.
he
Fuck
won't
it.
play because he doesn't have this money. If you're DJ Moore, are you going to feel the same way about him 2 years later when he won't play because he's not getting the money?
That's why you just
That's
pay him
all
the
I'm
money
saying.
right now.
That's all I'm saying.
Here's
Pay him the
here's
money,
the
you know?
here's the biggest detractor for me right now is I understand holding out, right? Even at the beginning of the season. But what he has done, if he is in fact, and this is a big assumption, right? If he is in fact holding himself out and he is able to actually play football, which we don't know this, but if that is in fact the way that it is, because you have his own teammates having come out and said something to the sort, such as I think Sammy Watkins. Am I wrong on that? I think he was talking about it. If he's holding himself out
Man, fuck Sammy Watkins.
at the end of the year while you're in the
That's my boy.
playoffs, you aren't just impacting your own paycheck. You're impacting the paychecks of those people around you.
Fuck
Because don't fuck that. You are the leader of this fucking team. You are the
exactly.
leader of
Those
this
guys,
team.
those
You're supposed
guys
to
are
be
the
that
reason
is
you're
because
making that money
that-
you're making. I'm
That's
sorry. Those
acting like
guys are the
you're
reason you're
healthy
doing it. You're
though.
getting it.
But if you are,
I agree with you.
if you have any bit of concern about your health, like I mean, like
Sure.
if your knee is like, yeah, you could play under it if we were in World War II and we had to get across the enemy lines or we're gonna die, right? But like, is that if he has an injury, which he has had, right? It's just a question of how hard you want to push the recovery. But I don't like that idea of it's like what you're talking about is win one for the get, like he owes them something.
He definitely
He
does.
does.
Are you
How do you
kidding me?
mean? It's
If
this
somebody
is
pays me
hold on,
$40 million, you're fucking right. I owe them something.
Tony. All right, let's talk about something.
Like, are you kidding me?
If he's got one of the best offensive lines in the league, does that help him?
He doesn't have one of the best offensive lines.
does.
Oh no way!
Yes, he does.
I don't believe
I
that.
think
They
he
have
does.
one of they traded
They didn't even
they
run the ball
drafted-
for 8
they
yards
draft-
with Dawkins in this
You-
past game
you
with
thought
Huntley.
You thought
Tell
Bozeman was
me,
really
tell
good this
me
year,
that
right?
they're the best
Tony,
team. Tell me
you-
when. Look up the stats. I promise you, they are not good.
Tony, you looked at all right. Let's take a look at this, right? You thought Bozeman was a really good player for us this year, right?
I thought
Baltimore
yes.
is the
I thought
sixth
he was
best-
good.
He was with the
sixth
Ravens
best
last year.
offensive line. Sixth best.
He was with the Ravens last year, and they upgraded the center position from him.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, they have a good offensive line. So my argument goes, okay, so he's got a good offensive line. All right. So does he not owe it to those guys to be there when they've put their ass on the line? They've made sure he's been protected all year for the most part.
Didn't they trade for a wide receiver for him this year too?
No, they traded away a wide receiver.
I just don't
they
know
got
if
Brown.
like saying
Did they get
this is that
Oh, they
him
traded him
like
after.
that puts so much. No wonder he should get that money then. If you're
Agreed.
saying that he
100%.
owes these guys so much, the whole fucking team, that
Okay,
I'm done.
he
Look, you would have
100%
to pay
needs-
Lamar. That's it.
He needs to be paid, and I agree with that.
I agree with
But
that,
if
yeah.
he in
I
fact
won't
held
hold this
himself
against
out,
him.
if he in fact held himself out during the freaking playoffs, Tony, this is not
When
how
they're not a
often do
team
playoffs
that
come around.
no wait, held yourself out. You say that makes it like
Potentially.
he is healthy.
We don't
There's
know
a
that.
difference between pushing it to the limit
Sure.
because you're in the moment. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, oh man, that dude just sprained his knee, but he's still doing it. There's a difference between that and asking him to go out there in a losing cause.
You mean the difference between a guy who
A
wants to
losing
win and the
cause.
difference between a guy who wants to get paid? Yeah, you're right. There is a difference.
Wait, can I just defend?
100%,
Can I? Wait, look,
A
even
guy
though
who
I
wants to win and wants to
Hold
get
hold on,
paid,
look,
yeah.
even though I don't agree with Tony, I don't want Lamar. I wouldn't.
I do. Let's
I
get
know
fucking
that's where we
Lamar, bro.
disagree, but I'm trying to defend you if you would let me. I'm trying to say that in my opinion, Lamar's perspective, if you want to say that he didn't want to injure himself, Like if he knows that he's already kind of injured, but then goes out there to the Ravens in their final game, hurts himself more,
Yes.
and then that way, and then now he's injured goods when the team is going to trade for him. So I can understand how Lamar in
Bro.
that situation might say, fuck it. The entire point that I'm trying to make is that Lamar, the player, I'm not even begrudging his decision. I'm saying that Lamar, the player, is simply not worth that based on what he has done. MVP be damned. He's
But
an
you want to
incredible
get Sean
quarterback
Payton?
because then we can get a younger quarterback on a
Shit.
rookie deal,
Look,
and he can
Shit.
make the best out of him. What
every
has Lamar ever done in the playoffs? Even though amongst the guys that were drafted around the same time
What has
as him,
Justin Herbert done in the playoffs?
that's true.
he just
You're
made it.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
But look,
Wait. He just
Josh
made
Allen
it?
has-
Oh, he just made
Yeah,
it?
Justin Herbert did.
Lamar
They were
Jackson
also
has done
Lamar
more
Jackson
than
made
just
it,
made it.
Lamar
No,
Jackson.
no
Yeah, they were
offense.
also
Is that
drafted 2 years apart. They were drafted 2 years apart from one another.
no, but you are asking. Okay.
My only thing is this, okay? You are every single time any NFL player steps on the field, you're taking the risk of getting killed, of being maimed, of being injured.
No.
Every single time, okay? So if your contention for stepping on the field is how much you're going to get paid, your thought process is wrong for being a team player.
No,
Period.
if you are a thoroughbred horse,
I don't care.
I don't care.
Listen
to this,
then prove
Greg.
you're
If you're a thoroughbred horse, you're the owner.
Guy out there.
Say we're the owner of a thoroughbred horse. Would you want to make sure that horse was fully healthy for the Preakness, what's the
Now
Kentucky
you're talking
Derby,
the
and
difference
this?
between a coaching
And then
mindset
you
and a
say
player
this, but you
mindset.
know what?
Nope.
Go out there and run this one race for the county or the state championship right here.
If you can go out there and win, then yeah, go do it.
All right. I'd rather,
All right,
yeah.
go do it.
Here's the other part to this. Okay. Number one, I'll put this out there. I know it's slightly different. Thomas Davis played with a fucking broken arm. Let's be
But he
real
was
about
going
it.
to the Super Bowl, and he was
You
in
were
the
in the
aging part
playoffs.
of his
Hold on.
career.
No, you can't.
So
You're in the
Lamar Jackson's
playoffs.
chance to go to the Super Bowl dead?
This isn't a dead option. Like this wasn't a dead season. Like it wasn't like they had four. Like
He
it wasn't
didn't
like
come
our
back to the
situation,
Super Bowl.
right? He injured his arm
didn't come
in the
back to the
conference
Super Bowl.
in the conference championship, and he came back in 2 weeks after a break in his arm 2 weeks before. He did the very next game he played in the Super Bowl. He broke his arm in the very next game. He broke it.
You know what else I think we're
that's
not
the
adding
same?
into
You
this?
think this is the same as what Lamar did?
It's similar, but it's not the same. You know what else we're not factoring into this discussion is that from the time Lamar got hurt, he knew he wasn't going to play another snap for Baltimore, but he led the team on.
Right,
but he led that team on into believing, oh, he'll be back next week, or oh, he's a game day decision, and it kept on and on and on. So I think part of the frustration is
how do you know he led the team on?
That's what it seems
what
like,
else? What would he just say? I'm going on
Harbaugh,
IR.
About his social
the entire
media account, it
team
says he's an athlete now.
So you think he would have gone?
No.
He should have gone to IR.
The team, John Harbaugh included, kept on coming out, and they were saying that he'll be ready to go by next week. Like they were always predicting that Lamar would be back sooner, which leads me to believe that the team
him, though?
But hold on, that the team doctors were telling the coaches that the timetable for Lamar's comeback, it shouldn't be that long. Then it comes time to game day or whatever, a couple of days before, and Lamar's like, "Well, I'm still not playing well. I'm still hurt. I'm not physically up to snuff." And what are they supposed to do? Not take him at his word? Like they're not going to play him if he's saying, "Hey, I'm not healthy enough to play."
That's
so he led.
Should do that.
Let me ask you this.
A bigger
contract. All right. Let's talk about this. Let's actually, Cody, let's think about the Panthers. We have been playing all year. We have been rooting for this team. We made it into the playoffs, right? And this happened. And Lamar Jackson was on our team and he decided not to play. How would you feel about that as a fan? Right now, we're on him on our team, So
Imagine
you're
it's
kind
Cam
of
Newton.
creating this. Imagine that this was Cam Newton and he
imagine
had
Cam
gotten
Newton.
hurt, but he was like not super hurt, but it was like it was a lingering injury.
I would
right?
say one thing.
What would you say?
One thing. If we would have just fucking negotiated his contract before this season, we would not be.
They tried, Tony. Did you remember how much
No,
they
you can't
offered
say
him?
Tried.
They offered him a
Yeah,
shit ton of money.
Yeah.
You either get it done or you don't get it done.
But you can't.
Nah,
You can't.
see,
No,
that's
Tony.
that's
You're
bullshit.
moving
That
the
means that
goalpost
you're gonna
again.
take whatever price
You
somebody
just-
else.
Then
you
you're
just said
really
you should've
just assuming
negotiated.
that he has been irately ignorant in this matter.
Well,
No.
And
let's
I
go by the
actually think
stats.
this is
What did they offer
Lamar.
him?
Yeah, let's look at the
What did they
guaranteed
offer?
money of
Because
what
if
they
they
offered
him a
him.
decent number,
Somebody
then he
actually
is being
find it because
irrational, you
yeah,
know?
we offered a lot of people. Yeah, I think this is just too. You guys are a little too willingly to be sucked into. Oh, do it for the team and what the NFL we offered this dude a lot of money. Like he should be grateful.
No, I'm fine with him holding out. I have no problem with him holding out.
No,
but you do not do
listen.
it for the fucking playoffs.
Right.
No, listen. The Ravens offered Jackson an extension worth $250 million with $133 million guaranteed.
133 guaranteed.
That would have
yes. Are
run
you
through
kidding me?
that would have run from 2000. It would have run through 2027.
What did
So
Kyler
they did
Murray get?
offer.
What did
What did Kyler
Kyler
Murray
Murray
get?
get?
Does
How much
133 million
guaranteed money?
not get
How
you
much
what you
did
need?
guaranteed money did
Oh.
Kyler Murray get? And if it's more than
Tony,
that,
that's fine. That's fine. But you also have to acknowledge the Ravens came to the table to negotiate. So your argument that then you shouldn't have let him get to the offseason is not. It's not a valid point. If here's the thing, or is he under contract right now or not, Tony?
but they should have just paid it
Is
then.
he under
By the
contract
way-
right now or not?
So
Murray
what you're
is
saying
100
players should be able to hold the franchises hostage.
Kyler Murray
hold.
is 189 million guaranteed.
So
That's a
what
lot
you're saying,
more
that's what you're saying, Tony,
guaranteed,
is that the players should be able to hold the franchises hostage for whatever they want to get paid, and if they don't, they're not in the
When
wrong
they
for that.
can, they should. Because guess what? The franchises usually do to players, hold them hostage. That's
Right.
what they
Because of the
usually
owners.
do.
Let me
They
ask
they
you
do
this.
that. You think that? How do you think they? How do you
Tony?
think you feel
No,
like
there is
if you're a
hierarchy. I'm
mid-level?
sorry, if you're the owner of the team,
That's
you're
right.
the owner of the team, you have more power than any player on the team.
Not if you're the
Period.
starest
Yes,
of star
that's the way it
quarterbacks,
works.
baby. You
All right,
it's the
let's-
one
the way it
golden
works.
position that can fucking pull their
Let's-
out in front of the owner.
Let's flip the
way it
script.
works, man.
We would say that the Ravens are probably a more successful franchise than the Cardinals and the Browns, right?
I would.
So would you say that the way that if they're saying that they don't want to do this ridiculously guaranteed contract, that maybe they're onto something?
Oh no, I don't know because no, I don't believe it's that simple. One is that there's all that craziness about all those teams moving in the night. So I don't know. I think all these teams have some probably shady history beside them. So let's not act like one is. But
No, I'm not saying
no.
that at all.
I would say this is that I think that one thing we forget when it comes to the guaranteed money is one of the reasons the owners are fighting this so much is because when you pay whatever money you guarantee. The entire guaranteed money on your team's contract, you have to have in an escrow account. So if they guarantee a quarterback $250 million, and then they guarantee a linebacker $30 million, and they guarantee this, you add all that up, and they got to be able to put that cash money into an escrow account.
Right.
So the reason the owners are fighting 100% guaranteed contracts has nothing to do about the risk in the player, but the amount of money that they have to allocate, liquidity that they have to allocate in the meantime. Right.
Sure.
And on the other hand, though, is that fuck it, man. We are one of the few teams that has an owner that actually has that money that could put it in an escrow account. A and B. Look, he deserves way more money. He's better than Kyler Murray, bro.
I agree.
And it's just a way,
I
if
agree.
that's what it takes, then fucking pay it. And you know what? I'd rather have this. All I would say is this. I would rather have Lamar Jackson for no picks and all that money than I would have Deshaun Watson for any of those picks and all that money. I like
Tom,
straight up. Give me Lamar.
Tony,
and he's the one player in the one position that might be pulling it out in front of him and saying this. Because are you trying to tell me a team you were willing to sell your soul for Sean Payton, for this and that? You don't think a team is going to be like, you know what? We'll take Lamar next year, and the players gonna be like, nah, I don't know if he gives it all up for us. Lamar, if he would have gotten that guaranteed money, he would have been playing right now, but he didn't. So he is pushing back.
But I don't blame him. I
agree.
I don't blame.
I think it's brilliant, actually.
My only argument is that he's not worth it. Not for the Panthers.
Disagree.
All right. So here's the one thing I'll say. We can move on. If all of this in a vacuum, if he was holding out, I'm on board with that, right? And he has the right not to sign a contract, right? He has the right to not accept what they were offering at the beginning of the year. What I don't agree with, and many might disagree with this, what I don't agree with is the idea of holding out in the playoffs. Like, that is the most ridiculous thing I have ever seen, because some of these players might be retiring. Some of these players may never get another shot like they're getting right now. And because of one guy, if this is in fact true, I'm not willing to go ahead and just say this is 100% a Lamar. Like, he might be hurt. I don't know. But by a lot of accounts,
he is injured. It's just you're trying to ask him to.
It depends upon a couple of different things. Number one, is it an injury that majority of players play through? Okay, if it is an injury that the majority of players play through and find themselves not having any type of a relapse, then let's go ahead and let's just say that he's holding out for the purposes of holding out, right? Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it's not just his money that's on the line. It's like, literally, if you're talking about you want to be brothers, you want to have this team come, if you want to be a leader of these men, like, sure, get your money, but at the same time, you're under contract right now, right? It's not like he's not getting paid. He agreed to this contract that he's on right now. Like, this is an agreement. He wanted to come to the NFL. This is what he agreed to. Now, he can fight that. He can try to negotiate, and he can try to show his worth. But at the end of the day, if he is holding out, which, again, if there is something that's a bigger problem, I'm fine with that. But at the end of the day, if he is doing that, that's where I have a problem with what Lamar Jackson is. I don't want to trade for him. I don't want to trade for him. Okay. I don't want to trade anything ridiculous. If we could get him for like a first round pick, I'm fine with that. But at the end of I'm not gonna give away 3 first round picks for a guy who's coming off of an MCL sprain.
Tony, let me ask you a question, Tony. Like, say just by chance we sign Lamar. We get Lamar Jackson next year.
Oh,
okay?
I'd be so stoked,
and we sign him for 4 years for $250 million or $300 million, 300 guaranteed. All get fully guaranteed. Okay,
done. Let's do it.
Okay, 4 years later, we are 13-5. We are the number 2 seed in the NFC South, and he's playing for a and this is last year of his contract, and he decides to sit out because he wants more money. What are you gonna think?
No, you said
no.
3 years.
What are you gonna
later.
think about that guy right there?
You said 3 years later. You're gonna get 5 years out of it, bro.
No, he's made $300 million guaranteed. He has a chance to make more, but he holds out your team's number 2 seed because he wants to make more money. What are you gonna think of that guy?
What's he gonna hold out for?
To make more money.
But
Because
like,
if
he's
it's
not gonna be able to
right
be
now, in 4
signed
years,
by
it's gonna be
another
$4 million.
team. He wouldn't
I'm
be able to be
I'm just
signed
saying,
by. He would
the
not be
situation
that
is
good
that
of
he
a
is gonna be signed by
commodity.
us, and he has to, and in order to, and he's holding out to make more money for us. This is a situation, and he does not do it. The exact same situation is in right now with us.
I would say this
is
it worth the money he's asking then?
Exactly, and that's what we're saying right here. Is
and
it
I
worth
would say
the money
he's worth
asking?
it. Yes, he is.
So an injury-prone, undersized quarterback is worth that money.
But by the way, everybody says, "Oh, Lamar just needs more weapons. Lamar needs more weapons." But you want to give away all of our draft picks to be able to put the weapons around him?
Right.
Like, that doesn't make a fucking shred of sense. Like,
Lamar makes
come on,
sense.
I would rock with Lamar, bro. If Lamar, how about this? I would be more excited about the Carolina Panthers next season if we had Lamar Jackson than I would be if we had Sean Payton.
Season. 8
But
and
the
9 every season for the next 3 seasons.
The funny thing is, a lot of the people
Yeah.
that want Lamar Jackson also want to trade for Sean Payton. So like, we are literally going to have
Count
no
me
draft
in
picks.
too.
We're going to have no draft picks to be able to help this team progress into a positive place.
But we have no
And
more
we're
minutes.
not going to have any
before we're
cap,
going-
and we're not going to have any cap room because we're going to be paying Lamar Jackson so much money.
We don't need draft picks cap room. We
Nope.
got this.
Nope,
yeah.
man. Sean Payton, Lamar Jackson. We don't need nobody.
Yeah, we got
Yeah,
this.
let's
yeah.
rock.
One player can do
Let's
it all, right?
rock.
We-
I tell you, I would buy.
yeah, baby, let's go.
I would buy a Lamar Jackson Carolina jersey. I don't care. I promise you this is that you guys are acting him out like, oh, what would you like this? If he was a Carolina Panther in 2 months, I'd be the first motherfucker buying his jersey.
I believe you.
Yeah,
I would
believe
not
you
be
too.
up. I wouldn't be like, oh, like if I
no
was
one
a
doubts
Browns
that.
fan, I would
You-
not have been the first Deshaun Watson. Cody would have. Cody
Dude.
has got a whole sacred shrine to people with bad morals in the background. The number's 252-228-5098. Let's go to the next call.